Today, we will just see what is variables. Last two sessions were on cost reduction and constraint elimination. Now we come to the application part of it. Now, the objective of any enterprise is to maximize the yield or to maximize the profits. Now, to maximize, what are all the things that can be changed? This is what we are going to learn by this word of variables, by this session. As you all know, variables means that something which can be changed and which is not fixed. Okay, there are two types of variables, independent variables and dependent variables. The dependent variables take the values based on the independent variables you change. Again, in cost reduction, we'll have a word called control variable. This is the variable which you are changing to alter the other variables. So variables means some things that can be changed or that causes a change in something else. Now, this session, it has its objectives that the learner should be able to identify and quantify the different variables in a process. Each process will have its own variables. There is no fixed variables. Each process or each product will have its own variables. Okay, each process has its own variable, and the learner should be able to identify and quantify the different variables in a process. Then only he can control it or he can change it. After knowing the variable, you should understand how each variable can be changed and what changes that variable causes to the other variables in the system or in the process. For example, variable X may be changed, and that change can result in changes in so many other things. Last session, I think I was discussing about heating a steel plate. Okay, there's a steel plate that is to be bent, and the machine doesn't have the capability to bend it. So what you do, you are heating the plate so that it raises the temperature from the normal room temperature to say 200 degrees centigrade. Automatically, it becomes more malleable. So what you have done there is the control variable is the temperature you are causing or the heat which you are applying. And this changes the malleability of the metal and it can be bent easily with the available machine. Similarly, that is called the independent variable and the dependent variable. Also, not all variables have to be minimized, nor all variables to be maximized. So the practitioner or the enterprise manager, you should know what are all the variables that needs to be minimized or to be maximized and change accordingly. Now, to know more about the variables, we will see it with a small example. This is a small example. This is an apple tree, a tree giving apples, and you see the apples there in the tree. Now, can you tell me, can we identify what are all the different variables that goes into giving a good yield? Now, the objective of the plant is to give maximum yield, maximum number of fruits you want. Okay, the objective of the enterprise is also the same. Similarly, we want good yield from the enterprise, which means we want good net profits from the enterprise. A top line growth can bring in money, but equivalent amount of money will be going out because of the expenses. So only the bottom line growth will help you to retain the money. So we need good yield. So from this apple tree, I want to discuss the different variables which goes into giving you the maximum yield. Can you identify, Matthew or Vishnu, what are all the variables which causes or which makes the plant to give good yield? It is not only an apple tree, whether you're growing vegetables, whether you're growing fruits, whether you're growing, creepers, climbers, everything as an objective. If it is a fruit yielding, it has to give you fruit. If it is a flower yielding one, it has to give you good flowers. You need to maximize the output from that plant. So what are all the things which helps you to maximize the yield? This is what we want to discuss today. Can you identify, please, what are all the variables that can be changed so that the plant gives you maximum fruits?
Sufficient water.
Okay, water is a good one. Yes, water is a variable. It's something similar to the consumable. Water, fine. What
Suitable
else is suitable?
soil.
Soil. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, suitable soil. Definitely, you can't bring a apple tree and plant it in Kerala. You can't take a coconut tree and plant it in Kashmir. So the suitable soil is required. Yes. So we have now two variables. What more? Our objective, like the enterprise, is to get maximum yield from this apple tree. So what else is the variable which can contribute to the yield?
Fertilizers.
Okay, manure. I will put it under the term manure. Yes, you have soil. So soil needs proteins. So manure is a good point. What are the other things which goes into this yield?
Climatic change also involves.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, climate is also important. Climate, uh, it means the season, I would say, and the climate, the four climates, that is also important. That is out of our hands. Though we try to come up with alternative solutions, a natural fruit yielding plants requires the right climate to give the right fruit. Okay, season, I would say. What else is there?
Fertilizer.
Yeah, fertilizer, manure, this was discussed.
Okay.
I'll give you one more variable. The type of seed which goes into the plant. Nowadays, you have got hybrid seeds, you have got genetically modified seeds, and you have natural variety seeds. Now, you must have seen our fathers and forefathers, they collect the best seed to sow. Whatever, whether it is paddy or whether it is mango or jackfruit, they collect the best seed and then they sow that seed. They don't sow every seed. Even when we are buying seeds from the shop today, we put it in water and whatever seed is floating at the top, we discard it. And we take only the right seeds, which is staying at the bottom, because that is the heavy seed, which has got a good or a genetic composition that it is staying down. So the seed is the first input you have to get a good yield. So you start with the seed. What next, you will say? So you plant the seed sprouts out, you give good watering, regular manuring, and it turns out into a beautiful tree. Now it grows and you keep them trimmed down so that there is no excess weight on it, and it grows, and in its season it starts giving fruits. What else can be the variables which you can alter, either given by nature or by man? So we have seen 5 now: seed, soil, manure, water, season. What goes into giving food to the fruit? What gives food to the fruit? I want to brush your biology. We know sunlight is very important. Sunlight is very, very important to give the to make the plants grow, give you more good yield. So sunlight is one factor, because sunlight, goes into making of the chlorophyll, which is the food for the plant. Next one, in the season, there are two more things there: temperature and humidity. That also governs the yield. Next one is the wind. Okay, now we are in the month of March. If you go around, you will find a lot of mango trees with a lot of flowers right now, or small yield, small fruits. Tender mangoes are come up. But a good wind throws them all away. all the flowers are falling down, all the small fruits are falling down, so you don't get a yield at the end of it. So wind is an important factor, temperature is an important factor, humidity is an important factor. So now we have seen about 9 of them. Next come another bounty given by nature, which is natural rain. So we are giving water every day, but a natural rain can result in the plant getting a lot of nutrition from nature. Okay, so natural rain, and along with it, if there is thunder and lightning, that is also it is not in our control, but you must have observed in your day-to-day life, after a good night's rain, and if there was thunder and lightning, the next morning you will see that the plant has shot up by 3-4 inches. It happens. Any plant, when it receives good thunder and lightning, naturally it grows 3-4-5 inches more than the normal. If it is growing 1 inch every day, you will find it grown 3-4 inch overnight. This is happening because of the thunder and lightning. Next thing, what happens with when the plant is growing, along with that, weeds also grow. The seed grows, and as it grows, along the at the bottom, you will find lot of small unwanted plants. We call it weeds. That also grows. So this, if you don't remove time to time, what happens is that automatically whatever manure, whatever water you are giving to the plant, these weeds will suck out. When the weeds suck, automatically the plant gets less nutrition and your yield is affected. What else is there? I grow a lot of plants, so I have a bit of experience in this. Every day morning I go around my garden. You will find if you don't see for 2 days, there will be a lot of cobwebs coming up in the plant. Cobwebs. You will not notice, but if you see in sunlight, you will see the cobwebs nicely spreading out. This is a kind of pest which affects the plants. So you need to remove the cobwebs regularly. It is like your unnecessary expenses in the organization, in the enterprise. Cobwebs will be there, but it's your duty to eliminate them as and when you see them. So cobwebs is another one. Another factor is the shade. People who are doing plantation rubber and all, they want nice sunny area. They don't want any shade over there, because if there is a shade, the plant will not grow. So sunlight has to be directly on the plant. Then only it gives you a good yield. Otherwise, the shade, of course, definitely you know the story behind it. There will be no chlorophyll production, which will affect the food which the plant gets, and there will be no growth. So sunlight is one factor which is required, and shade is preventing sunlight from falling on the tree, on the leaves. So shade is another one. Now, if you are growing climbers or creepers, they need some surface to crawl upon. So if you don't have that surface, it will not grow. So the surface is also another requirement. You have a potted plant, it is growing, but if it is a creeper or climber, it has to go into another area. So you need to provide the support facility. Like cobweb, you have also small pest coming into the plant. These are all your unnecessary distractions which remove you from doing your job. So these pests you need to remove as and when possible. That's why you have pesticides in the market. But some are harmful, and there are natural ways to cure the plant of any pest. So that is the pest is another reason which prevents your plant from giving good yield. Next, what about rodents and insects? So there are parasitic birds. I would not call them parasitic. They eat the fruits. So you have then now an external object which is trying to eat your fruit. So these are the rodents, the insects, the animals, the squirrels, monkeys. They come to eat your fruit. Also, you have human theft. Okay, so all this you can put under the word of what is it, theft, or if it's a strong word, I would say that others eat on your fruit. It should be your fruit, it's gone to somebody else. Okay, so this is another one. Also, you might have seen when a plant is giving too many fruits, if it's a jackfruit plant tree or a mango tree, if there are too many fruits, the probability or it's the susceptibility of the plant to break in a wind is high. So the owner comes and removes small or not good looking, not good fruitful ones. He removes so that the weight of the plant, the dead weight, is minimized. So again, higher yield is also dangerous. It may not give you the right fruit because you will have more in quantity but less in quality. So that is also there. I have another example to tell you, another incident to tell you. In my native, I have there's a jackfruit tree which was giving very good jackfruits in its season. Come May, June, it gives you a lot of jackfruits. Okay. And what happened was the next year, 1 year later, when I went there, I found that the tree was not there. So I asked my father-in-law what happened. So he told me that last season, after the fruits were all over, we didn't notice one fruit standing at a very height, at a big height. So he left it like that. And what happened was, after some time, it ripened on its own and it started falling down. The crows and the birds come eating it, and it started falling down. The fruit which fell down to the ground was not removed on time, leading to a collection of ants at the bottom. So the fruits, the natural good jackfruit, is so sweet that there is a big flow of ants to that area. So after a week's time, my father-in-law noticed that a lot of ants were there. So he applied DDT. The first week he applied DDT, he thought that the ants would go. It didn't happen. Second time again, he applied DDT. The ants went, but along with that, even the tree died because it had taken a lot of this pesticide, DDT. And after about 2-3 weeks, he saw that the entire plant, all the leaves had fallen down, and a plant which yielded very good fruit in June became a dead plant by September. This is something which touched me because cost reduction is something like that. You allow some things to complacency, lets you to let something be rotten for some time, and it finally eats the good tree. So you need to remove the weeds, you need to remove the pest, you need to remove the cobwebs, as well as you need to remove whatever waste are lying at the bottom. So once you clean the bottom, you will find that the plant is receiving sunlight at its root as well as throughout the plant, and it gives you good yield the next season also. So just to recap, I have noted around 23 variables involved in giving you a good yield. Now, if you are satisfied with getting 3 or 4 apples from the plant, it's okay. You don't have to go into all these things. But if the intention is to get 100 apples from this plant this year, last year it gave you about 40 or 50, and in the next 1 year, what you have to do is to ensure that your soil is well manured, you water it properly, you remove the weeds, you remove the cobwebs, there is good sunlight, there is good bounty from the nature in the form of rainfall, thunder, lightning, and you keep the base clean, neat, as well as the plants, remove it from all the dead wood, remove all the dead leaves. You will find that in the next season, the plant is yielding you good fruits, 50 or 100 or 200, whatever it is. And that is not the end of it. It can be more maximized. As long as the tree is alive, let's say the tree has a natural life of 20 or 30 years, during its lifespan, it can be expected to yield you every year, year after year, until the last years, a good yield. And it can be improved every year. We in Kerala, we have a lot of coconuts here, coconut trees. So even if there's no, and the coconut trees gives you yield every 45, 50 days. And you will find a good farmer is always taking care of the coconut tree throughout the year. He ensures that the base is clean, neat. If it is too hot, he puts some leaves around the base so that it is shady, and he gets good yield throughout the year. So a small plant like this, a natural plant giving fruits, is having about 25 variables. Then you can imagine the variables in a enterprise. In a factory, the number of variables which goes into making a good fruit yielding plant. We are not interested in the size of the leaves. We are not interested in the size of the plant. We are interested in the good yield. And one independent variable is amount of water you give. When you give good water, automatically the leaves will grow. When the leaves grows, it produces more chlorophyll. It gives you a good fruit. I hope I am clear on this variables. Okay, now we will see why we need to know the variables in a cost reduction project to help us know what can be changed and what changes it causes, to calculate specifically the present and future quantum and cost. In cost reduction, we are always worried about the quantity involved in the variable. Whatever the variable, what is the quantity you are giving? That is the important thing. Now, the amount of water, as I said earlier, is important. It's an independent variable. A plant of this size might require, say, 1 liter water a day. If you pour 3 liters water, what is going to happen is that the plants will die because of over watering. If you are giving only half a liter water, then also the plant will become yellowish and start to die because there is starvation of water. So any variable, if it is in excess, it can also lead to destruction. So you need to know the variable, the quantity, and then you change it. Again, here the water has a domino effect. You see, if you give water, it gives you leaves. The leaves are attracted to sunlight, they produce chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll leads to more fruits production. Okay, more growth, more fruit production when the time is right. That tree requires 2 to 3 years to start giving some fruits. So you'll have to wait until that also. So time is also an important